Last year, I decided to make the jump into a new hobby of game development with a simple thought in my head. As a big fan of strategy games, and especially turn-based strategy games like XCOM and Advance Wars, I decided that I should build my own version of Advance Wars. I spent most of the year getting acquainted with the Unity game engine and building a prototype. This prototype will be a simple battle between two armies, and it will showcase the base mechanics of selecting units, attacking, moving them around, switching turns, and having enemy units attack. I also added a capture system, a rudimentary level management, and yeah, that's pretty much it. It was a good run and I'm happy with how it turned out, but it was only part of what I wanted to build. And also it didn't have much of a narrative, it didn't have characters, it didn't have much of options in selecting units, not much difference. We only had tanks and a few soldiers, so it wasn't really that fun. See, I thought that it would be really cool if my game would have a story, and B, relatable characters. I loved Advance Wars, but the story always seemed a bit childish to me, probably because I picked it up a little late in life, towards my adulthood. Also, other mechanics interested me, such as base management, of the form that you can find in XCOM. So I decided that my green game should have that. Compelling characters, a cool story, and a base management RPG system similar to the one that I have that is observed in XCOM. Ambitious goal. So where to start? First off, I decided that an effective way to edit and create levels was necessary. In the prototype, I'm loading the levels as a text file, but this is very resource consuming because Unity has to load the entire text file and convert it into an array of numbers, and then it converts it into specific game objects that it instantiates, while simultaneously storing what kind of tiles we have in the system, right? Whether it's a mountain, whether it's a river, whether it's grass, and what kind of nodes is it going to create in the grid for the units to navigate. That is very time consuming in terms of the resources that the computer has to provide. Also, it's very hard to design levels, complex levels with this system, because it's really time consuming for me to create a text array, the file that permits the creation of complex levels. Fortunately, Unity comes with a very robust tilemap package that allows to design levels quickly and simple. Then it was just a matter of connecting the tilemap to a data layer through scriptable objects. I populated the list and it was ready to go. So let's start by building the base exterior level. This level will be kind of the hub of the game. Players will return to it after battles and manage their armies, talk to NPCs, buy buildings, and so on. Think XCOM. So first, I tried to create the base with a city tile set that I got from itch.io and a farm tile set that I got from Udemy tutorials. I'll links in the description of the video. But after a bit of fooling around, I decided that the city tile set wasn't really working. The buildings looked too small against the background and the tile slice was too big. It was too heavy for Unity to handle. So it didn't really work out and it wasn't very flexible. So back to the drawing board, literally, and I got a more flexible tile set, and I tried some more with the art from a farm tutorial that I did in Udemy. I really don't want to fiddle too much on how the game looks at this stage. We just want to get mechanics done. Okay, so it looks a bit crude, but it's better than the previous one, so let's make some buildings. This tile set doesn't look like anything we had before, but the tiles are a little bit more manageable and the buildings look a little prettier in my opinion, so we're going with this one to select some preliminary buildings. We also have to fix that ugly cream color that we're showing right now in the grass, but it's hard to find a mishmash of tile sets that are able to simultaneously look good for buildings and for background elements such as rain, grass, and so on and so forth. These tile sets work kinda good, but the look that I was going for was more military style and not so much like a little Japanese style, which admittedly looks kinda cool, but not quite the style that I was going for. So I decided to get a new one, this time from Unity Asset Store, again links in the description. And this one is a city, but it's a little bit more modular, so I'm able to create the buildings in a more distinctive way, right? Kind of like putting them together in Minecraft. So here I am putting a little bit together. This will be the central headquarters of the base, so to speak. Of course, this style is unlikely to be the final style of the game, and I'm merely using it to test mechanics and be able to have like a background to test the general feel of the game and how it works and what works and what doesn't. But very likely this art style is going to be completely different by the time we're finished with the project. Okay, so that's starting to look like something, right? But comparing the building that I just did for the headquarters against the building that I had for the royal quarters, like the central building that I have there between two flags, they don't look very similar to each other. So yeah, I realized that I needed to change a little bit the central building, so the style is not as jarring, right? Like the style mixture is not as jarring. So this is a final version. So we have like a little house that it looks like something that you might live in contrast to the big headquarters building above. And then I have another house, or rather another building, that has a little noodle plate on top of it, and is meant to symbolize like the mess hall. That's where the player is going to go in and interact with other characters and maybe have a drink and things like that. So just to give it a little bit of ambience. And to the left, you see like a brown yard with a bunch of cylinders going around that, and that's meant to be a construction yard, right? So we are going to have a building system here, and initially what the player is going to see is like a barren construction yard that is going to be finalized at some other point. Like it's going to be able to build up or put a building in there, and that's it. That's all that we have for the base.